Hello, welcome everyone. So glad you're here and joining me, whether it's while we're now live or later we're doing a replay. Thank you for being here. This is Lena with Especially Made for Me, and today we're going to be working on a grapevine, doing some florals, just to kind of go in the theme of spring. Before I get started, if you would please let me know by way of comment, do a little wave, just sprinkle some love. Let me do something that I could actually see on the comments, just so that I know that you're out there watching. That lets me know that you're there. Also, if this is your first time here with me, just joining us, whether live or doing a replay, if you will please give us thumbs up as you watch this video and you enjoy what you're watching. Subscribe to our channel so that way you'll get notifications. Do that bell. You get notifications when we go live, when we do premieres, and even do uploads. So that way you could be in the loop. Also, do subscribe to our email list with Especially Made for Me about events and special sales and discounts. And we do different offers. And we hope to start a blog soon. We're kind of trying to do a little bit at a time. So we're trying to get our email list fully up and going and getting the vendor shows up and going. We have some events that have been going on, so want to make sure that we keep everybody up to date with as we bring in new things to the shop or even at the live vendor shows, because there are some things that I have at the vendor shows that I don't put up on the shop, just to give the local community first dibs, if I can say it that way. So please do subscribe to that email list. You'll also get a 15% off coupon just for subscribing. So we're gonna go ahead and show you some of the supplies we have, and we're gonna get started on our nice craft so that we can get some therapy. I call it therapy because I enjoy making things and just making things pretty. So hopefully you're able to see everything okay, and we're gonna just go ahead and change the view. But I want to before I do that, actually, this is the grapevine that we're going to be using. Now I got this one, it's been a year, so it's a little bit dry. Normally for these, just as a tip to you, yes, my love. Internet acting up again. Well, hopefully they can still see me. My honey just told me that it's kind of like pausing and blinking and all of that. So sorry about that. Hopefully it'll pick up again. I think it did that some last week. We've just been having some internet issues, but just a tip here with the grapevines. Although they are all tied up, you can actually take these off and open them up some to stretch them out if you want to have more real estate, so to speak, for when you're doing your florals and making a wreath. That actually makes it a little bit bigger, and then you could tie it up with you could use some twine, you could use some zip ties to kind of tie it in once you have it spread as much as you like. But what I was going to say is, in regards to this being dry, it is very messy, just as it is. But when it's this dry and it's hard to kind of work to try to open it, even after you take the strips off that connects it and puts it together, you can leave them in water for like half a day or even overnight. It'll loosen it up. And then you could go ahead and open it up, just shake it off, put it out in the sun, let it dry a little bit once you have it to the position, the length that you want to open it up, as far as you want to open it up. So that's just one tip there, and then you just tie it up. I'm not going to do that today. Either way, just want to let you know that it is possible to do that, but just be prepared for the mess. It's probably better once you have it all nice, when you have it soaking, to take it outside and then open it up outside. Or if you have a special room or a garage that you do your arts and crafts in, then maybe okay and just kind of sweep things up. But it is very messy. I mean, it's already just with a little bit that I've been moving, and there's stuff here on the table. So but that is definitely something you can do with the vines to get them to be opened up a little bit more. So I'm gonna, let's see, I want to show you some of the florals that we have. I took a little bit of the things that I wanted to use. We probably won't use it all, but you definitely want to have some greenery. Have the vine that you want to use. In this case, this grapevine or wreath form. Gonna need some greenery. Of course, some florals. I have variety here that I want to, since I'm not opening it up, like I just mentioned, I'm going to be using these long stems just to kind of give it that little bit more of length. So that's something else you can do just by way of tip, just to kind of open it up a little bit and make it look a little bit bigger. So we'll be doing some of that. I have two different colors here, and on my screen it's showing the purple's a little bit different. Even my shirt is looking different. It's supposed to be a teal green, but from what I can see it's like a blue. But anyways, hopefully you're able to tell the colors pretty well. So I have lots of different purple shades of purple. This is more purple. It's a very deep dark purple. And then I have this one with hints of white on it, just to kind of vary the purples a little bit. But then I'm going to add a little bit of the white. Now this white also has that very dark purple on the tips. I'm not sure if you can see that here on this camera, but maybe when I switch to that top view, you'll be able to see it. And I'll show everything again. And then we have this one, which also matches some with our ribbons. So that's another thing that we're going to be using here. So I have a variety of ribbons here that I have already opened up and used for other bows and wreaths and whatnot. But this is going to be our main ribbon. Just kind of wanted to show you that it's almost the same flower, and it still has the purples and the pinks and the whites and a little bit of the lime green on there. And then I'm going to be using these for fillers with the same colors. And then I thought, because this is meant to be either an Easter or a spring wreath, so depending on what ribbons you use, you can make it for that holiday. So if you want to make it specifically for Easter, or if you want to make it a spring wreath and then just add a little embellishment to make it you know, for one or the other, you can do that as well. So just wanted to show you those ribbons that we're going to be using today. So I'm going to go ahead and change our view. Excuse me, here we go. I'm gonna get the phone out of the way and reposition these so I have a little bit more room. Okay, so this is our wreath, and it is, let's see, a grapevine rather, and it's a little bit past 14, so about 15 inches, 14, 15 inches, just as it is once we're done. So I'm gonna go ahead and I don't want to put that too far because I know I'm going to need it. Here we go. Alrighty, so the first thing I like to do with these, as I mentioned, depending on if I want to open up my grapevine or not, of course I'll work that in first. Okay. That's another thing, you're going to need some glue. Whether you use a glue gun, like I use a skillet if I'm going to be using a lot, or you can use a glue gun. This one is the Ryobi, and it has a battery. So I like it for that reason, because I don't have to worry about the cords. But normally I use it when it's for smaller projects, but you can definitely use it for big projects. I use that pretty much for everything until I got the skillet, and now I use it sporadically. But that one I absolutely love because I don't have to worry about cords. So if you do want to get that, there is affiliate links also at the bottom of the video. But you'll definitely need some glue sticks. You're going to need some zip ties for when we do our bow, because we're going to do a bow today to go with our grapevine wreath. And you're going to need, of course, the wire cutters so that we can make sure we get everything cut up as we need it. So, haha, so there we go. So first thing I do after I decide if I'm going to be opening up my grapevine or not is to lay my foundation on the actual grapevine. So that's what we're going to be working on first, and that is with your greenery. So you can choose to basically leave everything whole, or you can cut it down, you can trim it. Just decide how you want to spread your florals. So if you want your florals to, like I want to do, to spread it out to kind of give this more length, I'm going to be extending those longer ones so that way they're kind of spread out a little bit. So you may not need, if you're going to do it exactly the way that I'm doing it, you're not going to need as much greenery. If you're going to go with smaller flowers, you might need a little bit more to kind of cover up a little bit to give yourself a little bit of a base. So based on that, you decide how much greenery you're going to use and if you're going to be cutting it versus leaving it whole. So I am actually going to just cut the stem down. And I actually like saving these because you can use them for other projects. So I wouldn't throw those away. So you can decide as you're looking which way you're going to want to lay your greenery. So you can decide before putting your glue in if you're going to be spreading out. And again, it's just for a base foundation, just to provide you with some coverage. And once it's in there, it's really in there. So you could decide if you want it longer and then just kind of push it in further and continue working your base. So that's what we're going to do, but we're actually going to be adding our glue as we go, so that way we know it's in there. Just like Prego, it's in there. Alrighty. Hello. Let's see, we have Miss Monica. Alrighty. So again, just doing a little bit of glue on our stem, and we're gonna just position it around until we get a good base for what we want to do. And again, there's no wrong way really. So don't worry if you don't work with florals often. I've had times where I put them on and it's like, no, I don't like that. Pull it out and, and start over. So no worries. And again, I mentioned earlier, I'm just doing the base, and I'm planning on spreading the flowers or florals a little bit out, kind of curve them out up and down, so I have my top and my bottom. So that's why I'm laying the base this way. How are we doing out there? We've been having, let's see, we've been having a lot of rain, then it's really sunny, then it's really cold, and then we have rain again. We've had a little bit of everything just in the last couple of weeks. It's been a little bit cray-cray. You have to plan for a little bit of everything here, because you can pretty much have all the seasons in the same day. Uh-oh. Didn't want that to happen. There we go. Okay, so we are going to be using, you actually go a little bit further in, a combination of different florals. I think that's all I'm going to use for that. Just going to move those out of the way, bring the other ones closer. Okay, so these are, I should have, did I have the tags on these? Got these, that's, Can't even remember, it doesn't have a tag. Okay, some of these are Dollar Tree, I believe. And then we have Old Time Pottery. So I have a combination of things here. That's Dollar Tree, and that's from my wholesale vendor. Okay, so if you're not sure about how you want things to be on the grapevine, like I mentioned earlier, you could always just position them without glue first and kind of look. Because once you put that glue in, it's going to be difficult. Not saying that you won't be able to take it out, but it just makes it a little bit more difficult. So my thought is to do 2 of these light purple ones on each side, since we have 2 of the darker purple, and then put that in the middle, but have these kind of spread out to make it longer. That's what I'm thinking. You might change that. This is what I'm thinking, because these can be bent, so you can shape them however you need to. So it just will give us a little bit of the multicolor, the 2 different purples at each angle, and we can shape it up however we need to. Of course, we'll have to cut down the stems. And this is where we're going to have our bow. That's why I'm kind of not doing too much with our middle, because it's going to be covered with our bow. Or we can spread it all out, do all flowers, and do the bow on the other side. We can definitely do that as well. We've got options. And then we can use these also to kind of lighten it up a little bit on each side. And I'll see if I can kind of show you. More or less kind of going to look quite like that. And then we're going to use our bigger flowers as our fillers, and we'll spread those around. So that's where my mind is. So I want these to kind of open up a little bit. I want to leave my longer one to extend out. It's another good thing with these, keeping the shape. So we could even play with it once we have them glued in there. Kind of hide the stems if you can. Or if it's too long for you to be able to do that, then of course cut them down. Let's see, do I have my super long one yet? I don't. So I gotta cut it a little bit shorter. Spider webs. Here we go. Spread it all out. glue, for the glue skillet, I always turn it on high at first, just to make sure everything melts fast enough and it's ready for me to start a project. And then I put it on, like on medium heat, because it really doesn't need a whole lot to keep everything melted. Okay, so do you see it taking shape? So a couple of things here for decision making as you're making these. Of course, you could do it as this is your top, and you could put your bow here going down, and then just have the extensions going longer on the sides. Okay, you could make it to where it's on the side instead, so then you have your length going up and down like I mentioned earlier, and put it here that way. So then you could have your bow here and leave everything else as is. Now you could also fill it and make it as center with the flowers, kind of bunch them like a variety here, and then spread some just to kind of give it some more flowers, and then you do the bow on the other side. So there's a lot of different options to do there. Now depending on how you put your bow, then you could also display it one day, you know, one season display it this way, the other season display it the other way. So it's entirely up to you. Now if you make this your top with the bow here and of course the tail's going down, then this will always have to be your top, because then the bow is going to be sideways if you try to do it this way and then have the bow down. So just some things to consider, and we can decide how we want our bow next, you know, once we get to that point. Don't forget, while you're here, to sprinkle some love. Thumbs up, ring bell. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And invite others to watch. Share the link. If you use other social media like Facebook or even Twitter, Instagram, just let others know. Okay, so this has some greenery as well, so I want to make sure we use that greenery to our advantage. So I don't want to cut it too short. So I think I'm going to cut it right here, since we can bend it, and then if we need to cut it shorter, we can. We'll see. I think we could actually cut it a little bit shorter and get away with it. It's being stubborn. That's it for me as well. I had actually bought this one last year because I buy a few at a time, and I had a couple of them. I still have another one down there. But I saw them, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot I had these. I still have a couple of them left. I haven't done a grapevine in a while. I think the last one I did was for fall, to be honest. So it's been a little bit. Were you here when I was mentioning the tips on how to make them bigger? I want to repeat it if you already know. But basically, if they are too dry, you can put them in water to soften them up. got some glue on the leaf. There we go. So when they're really dry and not easy to maneuver, you can leave them in water like for half a day or overnight, and then take them outside, and you can take the ties off and you can open them up some. So you gotta work a little bit with the wreath. And once you do that and you get it to the size that you want, when you open it up, you can tie it back up, either using the same things if you can, or using some, this one is like a wired vine. You can also use zip ties to kind of get it back to, to make sure that it doesn't close back up or get any bigger. And then you can work with the grapevine wreath form from there. Kind of gives you a little bit more real estate to play with, which comes in handy if you're a creative that's also trying to do this on the side for income. The little leaves are a little bit stubborn. They don't want to stay. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and cut some of these. So we can start spreading some of the lighter color. Now these have a little bit of purple. It's a much darker purple on some of the tips of the flower. They sell more from what I've noticed, like during the spring and fall season. I don't see them selling anymore outside of that. I think it has a lot to do with the florals. Like right now, it's a very hot topic. Like if you do a search to see for trends, because I like checking on trends. Grapevines are hot, like right now. It's like a very, very hot search item. And I think it has a lot to do with because of the florals, I think. I think I'm going to use some in the middle as well. I don't know. It's going to be covered by the bow. We'll probably save some to go on the bow. That might be better. Let's see. Are these two my longest? I think. Ooh. And remember with these, they actually can be moved around since they're on wire. So you can open them up, stretch them out, Even after you put them on there and you glue them, you can move them around. Which is what I like, because I put them on there and I think I like them, and then I want to move things around to make it look a little bit different. So are we ready for spring? Ready for Easter? I'm gonna cut this down a little bit more. Just to spread the love. I like making sure there's stuff on the inside as well, so there we go. We have another, this one. So the key that I have found as I've worked with florals is to just spread it all out. You don't see really, at least in the wild and then in its natural places where everything is just like perfectly placed. Doesn't have to be. You're ready. I love spring. And I definitely like Easter. Love Easter. Well, the true meaning of it anyways. Trying to cut the ones that have a little bit of a longer stem because I don't want them falling apart. So in case you're wondering why I just keep looking at them and not cutting, that's why. So I want to put some on the inside. That'll be covered up. But I want to put some more, spread some more love. Do you have everything decked out and decorated for Easter? I don't have anything really prepared specifically for Easter or spring, but I'm hoping over the weekend that I will be dressing up the house, changing up the drapes and, you know, the curtains and all of that to kind of make it look more springy. That's as far as where my mind has gone. we're good with white. Except I still want more on this side. I like making sure, I'm going to lift it so you can see what I keep talking about. I like making sure that no matter where we look, there's some flowers. So that's what I'm trying to cover up. So even if I turn it this way, that's why I was putting flowers on the inside. We see some flowers. I want to make sure I do some up here, even though we're going to have a bow, just kind of like having flowers throughout. Oh no, so sorry. I can't, that is just horrible. I tell you, the hard freeze just brings all sorts of chaos. Not fun being in a hotel for too long anyways. If you're on a vacation or something like that, it's different, but yikes. So sorry that's happened. Oh, I bet. See, gotta have some therapy. Gotta have the crafting. I can tell the difference when I don't do any crafting. It's just not good, not a good thing. Oh, I feel for you. I feel so bad. Wish I could come over there with a care package. We could do something together. Guess kind of in a way we are now, but you know, just make sure that you have something that you can actually do while you're in the hotel. You know, have like a little care package and of little things for crafts. Okay, I think we have our white spread out. Keep seeing this one. Not wanting to do what I wanted to do. How are the kiddos handling all that? Being in a hotel and all. Okay, so these are going to be our other fillers. We could either choose to have them bunched or kind of have them long like the other ones. So I'm just going to cut them a little bit long for now. And I think I might do the little bunch. use it as a filler. I know it might seem a little crazy. It just makes me want to just run on over there and come up with something. Give a hug. That's another thing that with COVID and all, it's like, I'm a hugger. I'm just like, I can't give hugs? What? Why? Why can't I give hugs? It's like torture. Alright, so this one fell apart, so I just added some glue. And I'm basically just going to put it back together. Because we can. We can. Alrighty. And just like that, we're ready. Glad the kiddos are doing well. That might be a fun thing to them, huh? Take this glue off of here. Again, just adding these for a little pop of color, so it won't be all purple. Not that there's anything wrong with purple. Now I want to make sure that we can use that ribbon. Like this. Feeling the heat. I was cold earlier and I had a t-shirt on and I was just gonna look just all nice and comfortable, and then I got cold for some reason, so I put this thick sweater thing on and now I'm like really hot. I like taking advantage when I find these big bunches and they have them on sale, because they go a long way. And if you leave them long, then of course you could do the same thing with, like we did with these purples and the whites. And like so, if you leave them long. Just kind of wanted to give just little pops of the pinks here and there. Instead of having everything going long. Got glue everywhere. Almost got the leaf in there with the glue. That would not have been fun. Aw, thank you. There's just something about flowers. I don't know. I start putting stuff together. It's like, okay, I'm not quite liking that, but I'm going to keep going. And then it's like, ah. Just something about flowers. They know how to play together. So I was saying earlier with the you know, out in nature, you know, they don't necessarily look perfect, but they look so pretty. They're going all sorts of directions, and they can be all mixed together and they still look good. So that's why I don't necessarily try to, oh well, I have to have one on this side and one on that side, and that's not the way it is in the real world. Okay, so this is going to go with my white one over there for the bow. So I think we're done with these. And now we're going to do our fillers. These just don't want to be nice. Let's see. These are the ones from the dollar store. Sometimes their label, see, and I did it, just doesn't want to come off. Okay, so I always like pushing my greens upward. Kind of. This kind of looks better with the greens, hold like right by the petals with the flower. So these I'm going to cut shorter because these are going to be our fillers. And we probably won't even use them all, because we have the other bunch as well. I want to use some of those with the lighter. With the white. And I think these have a little bit less white. I might go with these. think we have enough white. I don't know. We'll see. If not, we might put 1 or 2 in there. At least I go faster if I do them all at the same time. Okay, here we go. So I am going to probably put some of these on the backing because we're going to have a bow more towards the front, even though the bow's going to cover all of this. So I want to make sure, again, as I mentioned earlier, I like making sure I cover some of that grapevine on the different sides where there's going to be eyes on it. So we'll see where we're going to go. I don't want to do too much of the... Already has some dark purple in there, so I am getting spider webs all over my hand. It's just spreading the love. One. It's a weird feeling this strings of glue. That's why I call them spider webs. That's exactly what it feels like. It's like I ran into some spider webs. Alright, let's see. Do we want dark purple? Because we already have some dark purple. So I don't know if we want to add more. That doesn't look too bad. I don't know. It is a different purple. I'll just prop it in there just to see. That could still work. Don't know. Maybe too much purple. On my screen it looks blue. So maybe that's what's throwing me off. I kind of like it, and then I look at it some more and I'm not too sure. I like it. The more I look at it, the more I like it. Let's see. I do have a small one over there, so I'll put this one in the back with some of these. trying not to miss the spot where I had them at, since I kind of liked them there and I didn't like them on the other spot. I want to make sure I put them right in the same spot. Just another little trick we can use. A little more. It's being covered by the greenery. Okay, let's see. I'm going to turn it over so I can do my bottoms here. So really and truly, there is no should I say, no right and wrong really on doing the florals. But this one still has its, let's see, okay. Just keep in mind setting up that base, and once you have that base set up, you just keep putting stuff in. Make sure that you have flowers for coverage. And when it comes to the grapevines, just remember, just like with nature, that everything has to be in a perfect angle. Doesn't have to be the same type of flower. You can mix and match. Okay, let's see. Playing around with our greenery, just making sure everything is spread in case we need to do some more coverage. Okay, so on the back, see how I put more flowers towards the back here? That's just to cover some of that vine, so that way if it's looked at from the top, you still see some flowers, or from the sides there's flowers. And then if you look on the inside, because we did some on the inside, you still have some flowers coming through. And then your bow, if you're going to go the bow, which I think is what we're doing now, have the bow in the center coming out with the tails downward. Okay. Thank you. Alrighty, so I think we're ready for a bow. Do we want more flowers? I think we're good with flowers. I'm going to put this towards the side. And put it where you can still see it. But I want to make sure there's room for to make the bow. Alright, let me turn this skillet off, see if that way I will stop melting. so where is, thought I had brought that mesh over. I'm just going to show another tip for making your bow pop, to put some mesh underneath. So we may, what I have, if I want to add yellow. Let's see. I don't like this one. Okay, we'll go without. But the idea is to make, now I'll try to do a quick ruffle. If you do a quick ruffle under your bow, that actually makes your bow pop more. So it's sitting up versus it being squished and then there's stuff all the way around it and you barely see the bow. So we're going to make, of course, a big enough bow, but I wanted to show you how you can lift it from there. So what we could do is use some greenery to actually kind of have it more in the middle, and that can also make it pop. So, because I don't like this gold, and I thought I had cut out a piece already of the other color that would match it. It's like a lavender color. So we'll just put a little bit more greenery here in the middle before the glue gets too cold. And let's see, I'm gonna adapt and overcome. Let's see, so I'm gonna start it on this end. Go. And the idea is, again, just to make your bow not be so low on the grapevine, so that'll help it be a little bit higher. And then you can use these just for coverage. It's the same idea with the mesh. If you do a ruffle, you put that on first, do a ruffle or two, and that gives you that height. And you could actually use that same tip for when you do wreaths with mesh. If you're going to be putting a bow on your wreath or your swag, do an extra ruffle to put under that bow. Alrighty, I think we have enough lift. Need lift. Okay, bow time. Okay, so let's decide, do we want to make it Easter or spring? No, Easter's right around the corner, and then we can have, we'll have spring a little bit longer, but I want to show you a tip here with this, even if we don't use it. So when we have letters, or if we have actual images and we want them to be facing a certain way when we make our bows, just decide how long you want your tail to be. Bring a loop around. Let me actually put this on here so it's just slide. do one loop, you're gonna go up and under, and then just tuck it in, and then just have your wording should be facing out. Your tail is gonna be, of course, going down, and then on the other side, you're not twisting. You're gonna go from under and over, and again, you're just gonna tuck it under. Between your thumb and your pointing finger. And if you want to make more than the 2 loops, you can make more than 2 loops and keep going from there. But see how your letters and your images are all facing where they can be read? So that's the trick on that. So normally I make that part by hand if I have ribbons that have certain images or wording that I want to make sure that it's going to be legible or better visible. I do that by hand. I do however big I want my bow first, and then I do the rest of the bow. Okay. Right. Just because of the white. Thinking about adding that white in. What do we think? What do we think? Let's see. If I do that. For the bottom of the bow. I think I might. I could always take it out later if I want to. So we'll get to do that one more time. This time I want to measure my tail. Okay, so again, we're just going to tuck it under. And I want that to be red. So I want to make sure that make the loops long enough. I'm going to go from the bottom and over and tuck that in. He's risen. Okay. Okay, so then you could actually position that for the bottom of your bow if you're going to be doing the same thing. And then you could do the rest of your bow as normal. Just do our dovetail. We just fold and then cut diagonally towards that corner, and you'll have your dovetail. Now we could have that for the top if we would prefer, but these loops are going to be a little bit bigger. So, let's see, and I was thinking of this one being our top, our main ribbon, just to add some of that pink in. Let's see, put this one a little bit more. There we go. Okay, our dovetail, again just folding in half. and cut diagonally towards the corners. Now with these, we do have to twist in the middle. And then we can position our loops as we go. Just take it off, so it's almost out. There we go. And on that first one, it's about 7 inches for the loop. And I'm going about 1.5 inches shorter for the other. Because we want to make sure that bottom one is visible. And I think I'm going to go just with the 2. Let's see, do we have, I might have enough. Let's see. We'll try it and see. Trying to use up the ribbon. If not, we'll go back and redo. I'm gonna make sure I do this upside down so you can have a better view of the bow making. Okay, for that last one, we don't twist it. We want to make sure our pretty side of the ribbon is showing. Okay, so then what I'm going to do here, because again I want that to show, we can start positioning our loops. This is going to be our top ribbon. There we go. And on this one, I'm only going to do the one. About the same size. I'm going to keep it in the center. Actually do 2 just because I really wanted this ribbon to show more than the other. Let's make it a little bit more. undecided. I'm undecided. Just don't, I like pink, but I don't like pink too much. So I'm having a hard time here. It's like, okay, that's enough pink. I was originally going to do the purple ribbon on the bottom because I thought it might be better to do more springy. I think I'll just take this one off. That's my finger. Okay. So another tip. Do like you're gonna make a, what do they call those? The like a breast cancer ribbon, and just cross it, and then you can bring that over, scrunch it, and there it is. And if you're not sure, you could always measure it that way, you know, to make sure that they're the same. I'm gonna go ahead and dovetail these at the same time. So there's the bow. And then we can fluff it as we go. And of course, we want to make sure all of our tails are downward. And let me get a zip tie. Get all the longer ones. For securing it, I'm going to use a small one. So for securing the bow, you can use a zip tie, you can use pipe cleaner, you can use that wired twine. There's a whole lot of options. But for our bow, we want to make sure, of course, have your zip tie facing the right, the right way. And we want to make sure we catch all of our ribbon, our tails, our loops. Make sure that we have everything included before we bring it around. Now here we're not gonna tighten it all the way. We're just gonna, and you can hold it on one side while you get everything else out of the way and situated. And then just move that towards the back. You can secure it a little bit more. But leave it loose enough to where you can play with moving your loops to where you want them, making sure your tails are facing in the right direction. You do some shaping, and you'll still have to do some more playing with the bows, the loops, and all of that afterwards. Just kind of tighten a little bit at a time. And then we'll put some more florals on the bow itself to kind of tie it all together. I'm going to turn this over. Now, whatever you decide to use to tie it onto your, whether you're doing a regular wreath or grapevine or a swag, whatever you're going to tie it onto, you can use one of these, another zip tie. Like I mentioned, you could do, let's see, if you have a color that will more or less blend in with the grapevine, to use a zip tie. And all I do there is just tuck that under. And you could do the same thing with the zip tie and then tie it onto your grapevine. Okay, once you believe you have it the way you want it, you can then tighten it up all the way and just cut off the excess of that zip tie, and we can then put our bow in. Get things out of the way here. Okay, so looking at it on the screen, I think we have too much pink. But I can't be the best judgment on that because, like I said, I like pink, but not a whole lot. So let's see, I'm trying to lift it here. I'm thinking I might redo and just have more of the white. I don't know. Or use more of that purple that I have put to the side for the bottom instead of the white. We'll see. But that's basically what you would do. Once you have the bow that you want to put on it, you would secure it again with either the zip ties, and I'll go ahead and secure it just so that I'll just do it lightly since I'm planning on redoing that. So there's the bow, not going anywhere. And I'll have it there for the top view. So not too bad. But I still think I want more of this white and less of the pink. I don't know. Let me see something. Maybe. Just take some plain with the bow. There we go. I think I like that a little bit better. But still a little bit too much pink. That's just my thing. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so here is our grapevine wreath with florals. Let's make sure our tails are not hiding. Okay. And there it is. We can read the letters on our ribbon for He is Risen. Okay. Gooda. So now we have our Easter / spring wreath or grapevine wreath. So what I like doing from here, once I have my bowl finalized, you can put more of the same flowers. And you can cut them and just kind of work the flowers into the bowl, so it looks like it's all, the flowers are growing out of the bowl basically. I don't want to use any more of that pink. So you can decide on your, as you're putting things in, you can cut more of the white and kind of work it in, incorporate it. It's pretty much surrounded right now, but we can do a center. See if I can push this a little bit further up. Could do our center flower for the bow, and that kind of ties it in together with everything else. Ah, thanks. And then we just glue it on there and make it part of it. So that is our grapevine, floral grapevine. Put these pins out of the way before I drop them and can't get them. Alrighty. So any questions on anything I can help answer? I know there's a little bit of a delay on the streaming, so I don't want to rush off. Just make sure while you're here, if you liked what you saw today and if you learned something new, please do give thumbs up. And again, sprinkle the love by sharing the link of the video. Invite others to watch. Tell them to subscribe. Was going to change the camera view, but then you won't see the actual work of art unless we hold it up. So I thought I would just leave it as is. Let's see. We can try it while we wait. Just want to make sure I give everybody a chance for questions. Let's see. Ta-da. Okay. Let's see if I can. There we go. They are fun, really, because you're just kind of putting things on. You just kind of go with it. Put a little bit here, a little bit there, and you just keep on. It's definitely good to try. I would recommend it. Recommend it. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get you out of that hotel. Well, I say it like that, like I can do anything. But let me know if I can to help with all that. So that way you can start doing some arts and crafts and get back to the things you love to do with the crafting. Glad you like it. Well, my friends, I guess until next time, we'll be back again next week, Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll see what we'll do from then. If there's anything that you would like to see while we're here together, let me know. Put a comment on there. Let me know what you would like to see. If we can see about working on that craft, so we can make sure that we keep doing the videos and the tutorials and the live streams of things that you want to see. So please do let me know if there's anything you would like to see, and we'll work on that to make sure that that's what we keep working on. That's what the thumbs up tells me also. If I see thumbs up, I know to continue. Ah, good. Glad you love the flowers. Kind of trying to see how to position this so that we can still have it on view. But do let me know if there's anything you would like to see. We can work on maybe for next week or the week after, depending on what else comes through that I get requests for. So until then, please do stay safe. Take care of yourself. Stay liquid. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.